This podcast is recorded on the land of the Baramatagal people of the Darug Nation, and we pay our respect to elders past and present. My name is Samantha. Hello and welcome back to Launchpad Radio, where we explore the journeys of entrepreneurs, innovators, creators who make it happen out there. We have a special guest today, a startup year alumnus and the founder and CEO of Ketch-Up. Welcome, Harshita. Why don't you introduce yourself? Do you want to talk about what you do and why you do what you do?
Super excited to be here and being interviewed at Launchpad and by Samantha. So thanks for having me here today.
Of course.
I'm Harshita and I've been part of Launchpad for almost 2 years now. What do I do? That's a nice one. I do so many things. So I launched Ketch-Up last year in October 2024. And it literally came out from like a very personal problem to me, which was making friends in Sydney. And Sydney isn't like the easiest place to make friends. I launched Ketch-Up in 24 October. And other than that, I do have a full-time job. I work as a marketing manager for a fintech startup. So I'm very much involved in the startup space, I would say. And probably I can tell you more about Ketch-Up as we go along.
Yeah, of course. I'm thrilled to hear more about Ketch-Up, and having taken part in your brunches and dinners, I'm so excited to hear what's coming up as well. But before that, what made you want to become an entrepreneur? What made you want to pursue that path?
I think as growing up, it really runs in the family. My dad always had his own businesses. Everybody comes from a very business background. And always, like during school, just very, like in my early days, it was always like, oh, you have to do something of your own. I saw my mom actually struggle quite a lot when I was young, which was very, like, it was thrilling, but it was also like very nerve-wracking to me, like how she would take care of me and my siblings together. And she always said that even as girls, like you have to do something on your own, which was very, very like supportive of her. And then like growing up, I met so many people around like during university who had their own small businesses, and girls would always have like this small side hustle or something. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. This is something that I want to do. So it was more like seeing people around, and how I think it was more like how I was brought up. Like entrepreneurship was something that I felt like, oh, this is freedom to me.
That sounds lovely. That's actually a very inspirational story. I would actually like to hear more about why you chose Ketch-Up to be your, end goal of your entrepreneurial pathway.
So it's pretty interesting because Ketch-Up is actually my third startup. It's not my first or the second one. My first one was I co-founded one with a friend in Paris, and it was for female travelers, so solo female travelers. I've been very much involved in a space which empowers women, which uplifts women, so very much into that space. And that has been a theme that I have seen throughout my life. Since growing up, during like my bachelor's, master's, everywhere I've been, I've always been surrounded by like very nice and inspirational women. So that was something that I worked on. When I came here to Australia almost 2.5 years back, I worked on a second startup, but it kind of failed. And that was one thing. I wouldn't say like it failed to an extent where it was more like, oh, I don't know what to do. But it failed to an extent which like it gave me so many good reasons to pursue another startup. And then in March 2024, when I actually thought, oh, what is it that I really like and I'm passionate about? And I saw like, I really like to connect people. I like giving back to people, but I like creating spaces which empower women. And that's when I was like, oh, maybe Ketch-Up is what I want to do. I wouldn't say it is the end goal, to be honest, right now. Maybe it's too soon, but for now, it is the end goal.
Yeah, and it's working really well for you.
It is.
And
I'm so thrilled.
yeah, and you're impacting so many lives. And for someone who has been to your events, with my experience, I can confirm that some of the friends that I made at your events, I'm still very close to.
Are you saying this because you've been to one of the meetups, or you genuinely mean
Oh,
this?
I wish, honestly, I wish I could lie like that. But genuinely, you know some of my
I
friends that I
know.
made at
Thank you.
the Ketch-Up events.
I know you're such a good brand ambassador.
Oh, thank you. You haven't hired me yet.
Oh, maybe that's the next thing.
Probably. Um, okay, I think from what you just talked about, it gave me a really good idea about why you surround this around female friendships. And do you want to just talk about why you think female friendships in particular are so important?
Interesting. So I went to an all-girls school, and then I went to an all-girls uni for my bachelor's, and I have always been surrounded with like the best friends I've ever had. So while growing up during my school, I had a couple of friends, and I've never been part of like one particular group that I always stuck around. I always moved around. Like in school, like everybody knew me, and I've been very social in that space. And during my bachelor's as well, like I had so many friends, and then people started moving around. I was, and when I was 17 or 18, I would say, sorry, I left my city and moved to another city. I found like my best friends there. We were all living together. And I think growing up with a sibling, and especially a sister, it really makes such a big difference. Her friends became my friends, and my friends became her friends. So it has always been like, that's kind of sisterhood around is so important. And I always felt very close to like all my friends. And especially when I left India in 2017 and moved to Paris, I think that was a very big turning point for me, because I just had this bubble of like my best friends with me all the time. And then when I moved, I was like, oh, I do connect with my friends so well, but now it's so difficult to make friends. But in Paris, like I still had the opportunity to meet like some incredible women, work with them, and it just was really uplifting. But I do think like female friendships are so important in your life, because I can sit with a female and like talk my heart out, which I don't think I can do with a guy. And especially like it just makes you feel so empowered. Like you can talk anything to your girlfriends, but and like they would listen to you without judging you. So I think that's a very beautiful thing of a female friendship, and like no strings attached. I can meet her like 3 days, a month, 3 months from now, and I know I'll pick up from the same place.
That's true. And they won't take it personally.
Absolutely
That's
not.
the beauty of female friendships.
Oh, yeah, it's like Mandalulu saying the same thing.
Yes.
To everyone.
And then you can ghost them for 2 months and they'll come back and be like, what happened to you? Anyway.
I know it happens to us as well.
Yeah, totally. So I'm just thinking how, because you provided so many different perspectives from being in Paris, being in India, and I would almost say that's your brag bag story. As one of our entrepreneurs in residence taught me yesterday, I think that's your brag bag story. You can get along with anyone.
Oh, I don't know. I do actually.
Yeah, you do, and that's why Ketch-Up.
Yeah, and I've met so many people like since I've started Ketch-Up. I've met people from all over the world. I've actually hosted people at my place. I've met people who've been traveling, and then I've actually hosted them at my place because they were traveling. I love these kind of things, and it's not just like a way of connecting two people. It's also for me. I see it as a space where I'm meeting them, and I've got to know them. I've hung out with them outside of Ketch-Up. So Ketch-Up is just a space that is bringing everybody together.
I love that. And why do you think Sydney, particularly in Sydney, it's harder to have those female friendships? Like we just discussed, we ghost each other for a month and just come
and
back.
still come back. But I do feel like Sydney does not has a concept of third spaces, which it really lacks. And especially like people who've been born and raised here, even they say it. And a lot of them who actually turn up to Ketch-Up, they always come and say that, like making friends here is so difficult because everybody is just in small groups all the time, and they keep and they like to stick to each other for some reason, which I don't get why. And Sydney is so multicultural. Like people come here from all over the world. They're on work holiday visas, students, like everybody. But just meeting people is so hard here. And especially like I know a lot of people in Sydney are around like 25 and above is what like it's a major demographic here at the moment. And that's the demographic that really comes to Ketch-Up. And people in that age, when you reach like 28 and closer to your 30s, I would say, it's so hard to make friends. Like, you're struggling with jobs, you're struggling with relationships, you're struggling in another city. You just don't know. You feel lost. You feel stuck and you're like, I need somebody to talk to, but I don't know where to go. And I just need a friend. But I have no time and no idea where to go. I can't go on a dating app and look for a friend. Well, you could, like people do. People go up. I've used Bumble BFFs. I've met people there. But it's just that how time consuming is it, right? So you just want something that happens naturally and it's a safe space for me to go and meet somebody.
That's true. What I'm understanding and from what I've experienced at 27 is pretty similar experience. I think for me, it's like, oh, I enjoy my company, but then I also think, oh, I have personal preferences for friends, but then I attended your events and I go to other spaces and I think it's not really a matter of what I like or what I don't like. It's a matter of when and where.
Yeah.
I think you need that extra pressure to kind of plan something and...
Yeah, I think that what you really said right now, like, you enjoy your personal space. Definitely, like you enjoy your personal space at this point in your life. But you also crave that kind of, like warmth from somebody who's just a friend to you and who you just want to go sit down, have a cup of coffee and tell them, hey, I had this bad a day. My boss said this to me. And just like tell them this happened in my day. So you do crave that kind of just like a small conversation with somebody. But definitely, like you also like your space. I think it's a good balance that everybody tries to have. But it's just like how much intention and how much effort you want to put into something that you actually want to see along the line.
That's true. And that's where Ketch-Up comes in really, because you provide the space, you provide a time and a space for people to show up and you won't even realize it. You share so much in common with these other women.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Everybody has the same thing. Oh, I like these books. I like going on walks. And it's more like till the time you don't put yourself out there, you will never know who you're going to meet, right?
That's true.
Like, I would have not known that I would have met you, actually, till the time I didn't come to Launchpad. And I had no idea. Oh, Samanda's there.
Okay, one last follow-up question to that. I mean, I know you've always been passionate about making connections and female friendships. What was the aha moment, like when you came up with the idea for Ketch-Up? Like what was a defining moment that led up to it?
Should I actually tell you how actually Ketch-Up started?
Yes.
It's a really interesting story. So after my second startup, this is in January 24, and till in January 24, I wrapped it up. I just said, okay, this is not happening. I just need to wrap this up. I need to put my head somewhere else. And I gave myself time. I was like, okay, I'm going to take some time, take a step back and think about what is it that I want to do next. I took almost 2 months to think about, what's the next idea? What are things that I like? I got to my whiteboard. I literally started writing down like everything in my life that I like, things that make me go step up, like jump out of my bed and be that, oh yeah, these are the things that I want to do. I was putting things down and I started seeing patterns. I was like, I really like food. I like music. What are things that I can do around this? And first, my idea was, I just want to make maybe like men and women meet both, but just for friendships. And like food has to be there. And why food was very interesting to me because it just breaks conversations so quickly, right? Like, I don't have to know anything about you, but if I'm having a Mexican dinner with you, I'd be like, oh my God, these nachos are really good. And you'd be like, yeah, that sauce actually is really nice, right? So like it really lightens up that conversation. Like I don't have to know anything about you. So I was like, oh, food is easy. Music can be a bit tricky. And I was like, oh, maybe I want to make both, men and women meet. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, honey, you're thinking about a dating app, but this is never going to work. Then I went back to my whiteboard. I was like, no, this is not going to happen. And then I started reading a lot about social isolation. And that's when I saw like 17% of women, and this is from ABS data, 17% of women in Sydney feel socially isolated. And this leads to depression and anxiety, which is very high among the population, especially women. And I was like, oh, that's very alarming to me. And that's when I was more like, oh, okay, this is it. Like, I know exactly what I want to do. And then when I saw like those kind of themes and numbers and that kind of research, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And that was... I think that was quite a defining moment for me. But my very, very, like my high on Ketch-Up was when I hosted my first meetup, which was in October. And it was just like, I was like, oh, okay, it's all in my head. It's all on a paper. It's all on a slide deck. But it has to go out and like people need to know about this. And I just like, I launched it. I launched a broken website. I was like, how bad can it be? I'm just going to try it. I launched it. I put up events. And like my first meetup was on the 26th of October. And I still remember I had 40 people sign up for that. And it was a completely free meetup to attend. I had 40 people sign up. And I was like, oh my God, well, how am I supposed to have 40 people in that cafe? What am I supposed to do there? And it was just nerve-wracking to see, like, having all these people just sign up to an event like that. But at the end, only 8 people showed up. So that was like a very defining moment for me. I was like, this actually works. People want it. And then when I started doing more of it, like the numbers just started going up. But that was like one moment, like, when it all started coming together, like just with the first meetup, even though it was free, I didn't get anything out of it. But I think there was a lot of like self-satisfaction that I got in that moment.
That's beautiful. And I think you've impacted a bigger community and more than you can see, actually.
Oh, thank you.
No, honestly. And I think your work's been rewarded as well recently. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah. So I did get what was it? Yeah, so at Launchpad last year, I was awarded the first prize from Launchpad, which was a prize money of $10,000. So that was a really big thing just to put into business. And first time you're having that money. But to be honest, when you don't have money in business, it's a problem. And when you have money in the business, it's another problem because I'm just like, oh shit, I've got money. Where do I actually start spending it now? So it's kind of that. And then I did like I love pitching. It's just one of the things I absolutely love. I've been to a lot of comps, and just day before yesterday, I had my first pop-up at Western Sydney Startup Hub, and it was a women's networking event, and they called me and they were like, oh, do you want to have a pop-up at Western Sydney Startup Hub? I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
I think, well, congratulations on that, but I think you missed out on one of your biggest achievements this year. Your Young Achievers Award.
No. Oh, sorry. Thanks. Oh, yes. I was one of the nominees for the 7 News Young Achievers Award. And it was for academic achievements. And the achievement was for Ketch-Up. So I did Ketch-Up as part of my MBA program at Western Sydney, which was the last 6 months of my MBA. I pursued Ketch-Up as a starter program. And during my nomination, I nominated myself, and my professors backed my application. Hooray, thank you. So I was one of the nominees for that for 7 years. And it was a big moment, sorry. It was a really big moment just to get awarded, like in another country altogether, for things like I had never thought that I would do something like this, and just like 400, 500 people there, and everybody's like, oh, what are you doing? Funny thing was, I was just turning 30 a month after, so it was the only time I could go in for those awards.
The timing, divine
I was like,
timing.
oh, this is great.
That is divine timing.
It was.
Well, again, congratulations on that. And as Launchpad, we've seen you grow so much since startup year as well. And you also went to Japan.
I did, I think, and it was just exactly almost a year back. So that was really interesting. We went to Japan for 15 days, and it was from Launchpad and the uni itself and the starter program. And I think we were 6 of us, or 8 of us. It was one of my best trips, even though I've traveled so much. But I do say that Japan was definitely one of my best trips, and keeping the fun side. But definitely saying, like, we went there trying to understand the Japanese startup ecosystem was so interesting, just to see like how people work and just their enthusiasm to like know what you're doing, what's in the world, and their like mere hard work. They, as much as they work, that's exactly 10x their party, and that was so good. So that was really nice. And then just I did a lot of market research and market validation there. I was like, I am here, I just want to know, like, if this is just a problem which is only very like continental, or is it more international? And when I went there in Japan, like with my Google Translate, I would just go up to strangers and ask them, hey, do you feel like socially isolated here? Do you have enough friends? Is it easy for you to make friends? And those were conversations I just had on the streets with different people, like literally. And it was so like amazing to know, like everybody feels this at some point. And even like, it's not just like they feel it here in Sydney, but they feel it all the way in like all over the world. So I really like that, like something like this, I've validated it, maybe not to that extent, but I've quite a lot validated it in an international space as well.
That's amazing to hear that everything you did in that little bit of time actually paid off towards Ketch-Up.
I didn't want to waste those 15 days at all.
Commendable. Okay. We were kind of running out of time, so we just want to do like a quick fun refresher. Okay. We'll be playing a little game called Hot Seat Unfiltered, and I'll be asking you 2 to 3 questions, and I would like you to answer with the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay. As unfiltered as we get.
Yes. Okay. All right. First question. If you had to save the world from an apocalypse and your 2 options were swim in the Parramatta River on a rainy day, jump off a not-so-high cliff into the deep blue ocean. Mind you, you have no idea about swimming in these waters.
To be honest, I don't know how to swim, but I'd still risk my life and swim in the Parramatta River.
Love that. Risk taker.
I'd probably float or try to.
Okay, yeah, you'll definitely float in that water.
I just saw it was flooding today.
Okay, next question. Not surprised. Okay, what's one thing you believe that most people wouldn't?
In what sense?
Okay, if I were to answer that, I'd say aliens.
Unicorns. My sister almost made me believe that unicorns were real. Okay. And this was very recent. And I felt dumb after she said that.
So you believe it? You believe in unicorns?
Yeah,
I love that.
Do.
We love the dildo. Okay. If you were to appear as anything in a different timeline, what would it be?
I think I would just be like a Barbie doll. I love Barbie growing up.
I love
I
that.
would just be a Barbie doll in a very pink setup.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like,
And probably like very blonde hair.
love that.
Yeah.
What what shoes would you wear? Sneakers or those
Oh,
painful
I'm a
looking
big
heels?
sneakerhead. So
Oh,
definitely sneakers.
lovely.
Sneakers and like probably like PJs. That would be me.
Change the narrative, yes. Okay. All right. So, and we understand that you've done so much work, and we understand how hard and tiring it is to build a startup and a successful one at that
Uh,
and keep innovating. So, what do you think has been the hardest part for you so far, and how did you tackle it?
I think as a founder, some people just say, like you're just doing business, but I have worn caps of a product owner, of a technical person, a social media person. Like basically, I have been one person who's been running it all. And I think one of the most difficult parts that I have navigated is not having that kind of technical knowledge on me. And it has been really hard just to understand. And I've sat down hours just like to understand, oh, what are the technical things that I need? And I've sought help from people. So especially like if I don't know something, I was very hesitant in asking for help. But over time, I've just learned like, why don't I just go and ask somebody instead of me like putting my brain into this and wasting 10 hours. So I think like navigating a technical space has been quite difficult for me. But given that Ketch-Up does not really fall into a very technical space right now in the short term, but in the long term, it definitely does. So just exploring that has been something.
Okay, how would you say connecting with new people? I mean, I know it's hard to find people with the right skill set, but how did you navigate that?
A very interesting story.
Okay.
It was actually at my swimming lessons. I met somebody, and we had seen each other like swimming together for like probably 6 classes, and we had never spoken. And one day, I don't know, it just came to me. I was like, oh, let me just say hi to her. What's the worst? I went to her and I was like, hey, and I introduced myself. And then, to my surprise, we were actually from the same city in India, and we had never known this. And then she told me, oh, I'm in software development, and my husband does the same things. And I was like, oh, great. And that's how actually I met like this technical person. They helped me like understanding whatever I was building in my head, because in my head it looked beautiful. It was the best thing I was doing. But when I sat down with the two of them and they started like breaking it down to me, it was so different. I was like, wow, I didn't think at all about this. So just, like sometimes you're just hesitant and like talking to people or like asking, some stranger on the road, like, hey, do you know where to go? Like, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, I've been very open about like talking to people. And if I find somebody on a network, especially like maybe on LinkedIn, I make sure that I connect with them and seek that kind of help. I've met one of my mentors actually through an online networking session I went to, and she's just been incredible. Like, I literally met her at an online session I was doing, and I reached out to her afterwards and I was like, do you actually want to mentor me? Like, this is what I want to do. And we've been together for like a year now.
That's actually great advice too for someone who's looking to start their journey.
Oh, yeah,
I think
absolutely. Like, go for it. Like, there's so many, you won't know, like, till the time you don't put yourself out there. I think that's my key message. Like, if you don't put yourself out there, you will never know, like, who can help you and who's actually willing to help you. And there are so many amazing people who literally don't want anything in return. They just want to genuinely help you.
that's amazing. That's great advice. And thank you so much. Before we wrap up, where can everyone find you? Where can everyone connect with you, and where can they follow Ketch-Up?
So please go and follow us on Instagram. It's ketchup_up_AU. And our website is ketchupcommunity.com. We've got really nice meetups coming up in September. And just a little giveaway, we're hitting a 1 year mark in October. So October 23rd, we're celebrating 1 year of Ketch-Up, which is Ketch-Up turns 1. It's a really big party. So go to the website, get yourself a ticket, and I hope I can see you there.
Thank you so much for that. We can't wait to see what's next for Ketch-Up. I know big things are coming up, so everyone give Ketch-Up a follow on Instagram and check out their website. There's plenty of events coming up. Sign up, and Harshita is a really chill person to be around. So thanks again, Harshita, for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
On a rainy day.
Thank you for coming on a rainy day. And
Had to.
yeah, and congratulations on your big win so far.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see.
I don't think a lot of this would have been possible without a lot of support that I got from uni as well. So definitely have to give the uni a big shout out, and to my mentors and to the Launchpad team who've always been so welcoming to me every time. So thanks a lot.
All right, awesome. And everyone, go check out Ketch-Up like we discussed. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Until next time.